The top 100 mobile games right now are projected to bring in around $53 billion in revenue this year. And all of them have one thing in common. Every single one is free to download. In 2025, 96% of all mobile game downloads were free to play. On Google Play specifically, that number hit 99%. Not most games, basically all of them. So if nobody's paying to install these games, where are tens of billions of dollars actually coming from? Let's find out. The obvious assumption is ads, or millions of people spending a couple bucks here and there. That's partly true, but it's not where the real money comes from. Revenue inside a successful free-to-play game is wildly uneven. It's not thousands of people spending $5 each. It's a tiny sliver of players spending enormous amounts, while most players spend nothing, ever. The industry has a name for that tiny sliver: whales. Same term casinos use for their biggest gamblers. Roughly 1 to 2% of players in a typical free-to-play game generate the majority of that game's total revenue. In some titles, a handful of individual players are worth more than tens of thousands of casual players combined. One mobile title reportedly reached about $150 million in cumulative revenue, a number a traditionally priced game could basically never hit through upfront sales alone, especially with most players paying nothing. So the entire game gets built around finding and squeezing that top 1 to 2%. But how is a whale actually made? This isn't luck, it's engineered piece by piece. Near-miss mechanics. You spin for a rare item and land one slot away from winning. Close enough that your brain treats it as almost a win instead of a loss, which pushes you to try again immediately instead of walking away. Confusing currencies. Real money buys gems. Gems buy crystals. Crystals buy the item. Every extra layer makes it harder to feel how much real money you actually just spent. Odds that stay hidden or misleading. One major case found players had roughly a 0.3% chance, 3 in 1,000, at the specific rare character being advertised, meaning some players needed to spend $360 to $540 just for a real shot at one item. Limited time banners and starter offers. Manufactured urgency that pushes a decision before someone has time to reconsider. None of this is random game design. It's a purchase funnel wearing a game as a costume. And the average player experience is basically the marketing layer sitting on top of it. Regulators have started pushing back, mostly through consumer protection law, not gambling law. The FTC fined Genshin Impact's developer, Cognosphere, $20 million after alleging the company misled players about their odds and used a confusing currency system that obscured real costs, while also collecting data from children under 13 without proper parental consent. In February 2026, the New York Attorney General sued a major developer, arguing its paid loot box system resembles a slot machine, pointing to items reportedly reselling for over $1 million. Still, there's no single federal law banning any of this in the US. Belgium and the Netherlands have banned paid loot boxes outright. The EU is moving towards similar restrictions. The US approach for now is case-by-case enforcement, usually triggered when children or clear deception are involved, leaving most of the underlying mechanics untouched. Here's the math that makes free-to-play so dominant. A paid game has a hard ceiling, price times number of buyers, and that's the entire revenue, forever. $60 times 1 million copies is $60 million. A free game has no ceiling. If a whale is willing to spend $500, $2,000, even tens of thousands of dollars over months of play, the game just keeps letting them. There's no invisible wall. New bundles, new events, new limited-time items keep appearing, and some players keep buying. Multiplying millions of free players by a near-unlimited spending ceiling on a tiny fraction of them consistently beats multiplying a fixed price by a fixed audience. Free removes the cap entirely and lets a small, carefully engineered group of players pay as much as the game can get them to. You were never really the customer in most of these games. You were the crowd that makes the whales feel like they're part of something worth spending on. Subscribe for more business breakdowns.